Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
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 I can't believe we're the first husband and wife to do a podcast together. Mischa, put all this in before the theme song.
Press release. Extra.
Isn't that we had a press release about this podcast when we got married? It was in our ketubah.
We haven't done our ketubah yet. Have we considered?
We'll write it in there.
Have we considered putting it in a Google Doc and then saying to the nearest rabbi, is that okay?
That's pretty funny. I thought it would be funnier if we did it in like the language of the town square, so we should do it in Aramaic.
Oh, sure.
The press release.
Love that.
It's a joke just for the Jews out there.
Woo!
Just those with Jewish education. Hello, it's The Replay, where we replay and reply to questions about games in advice columns of the past. Now, two married people who are not qualified to give real advice can at least give better advice about games. It's a me, Eric Silver, and the gamer with the famer, my wife, Amanda McLoughlin.
It's a me, Amandio.
Wow, your Chris Pratt impression is pretty bad.
Thanks. I really commit.
Did you not notice I said bad?
Yeah.
Okay. I said, you put too much Italian on it. You need to be as flat affect as possible. Also, this joke will be funny for the rest of time.
All right, let me Peter Parker dollar slice. It's me, Amandio. No, that had too much soul in it.
No, that was like Hugh Laurie doing
Shit.
an American accent.
Shit.
That was House. You did Dr. House.
Fuck.
What if Dr. House was Mario? It's a me, Lupus.
You really, Eric, this is real catnip for 13-year-old Amanda.
All the super hulocks out there are like, hell yeah, dude, let's go.
I saw a poll on Tumblr the other day that was like, oh, what fandom brought you to Tumblr? And I was like, I know for a fact House MD is not one of these choices. And Eric, it was not.
I'm surprised.
No. The oldest one was Sherlock, and I was like, well.
I guess they're doing it for the new kids. They're not you don't have to do a poll. You don't have to do a census of the people who've been there forever.
Yeah, they also use an option on vanilla extract, so that's where Tumblr's at right now.
Oh, of course, they're on the vanilla extract tip.
Yeah, this joke is also going to age really well.
I made a reference to Goncharov in an episode that's coming out in March of a guest thing that I'm doing, and they didn't know what it was because they're like, the people whose podcast I was on are like in their 40s.
Sure.
So I'm just like, I'm trying to explain. I'm like, okay, this is an old Tumblr joke. It's going to be even older. Martin Scorsese released a fake movie called Goncharov, and then everyone ran with it.
Yeah.
So it was just like so hard to explain it if someone doesn't already know that for an aged, not new, on sale Tumblr joke.
That's why you get married and also have a podcast, not together, but both things work because you never have to explain your jokes.
Damn. That was part of You Pray Love, right?
Yeah, it was also in my vows. Idiot.
Oh, sorry. I was too busy distracted by how you started your vows as Webster's Dictionary defines marriage as true story. Absolutely fucking true story.
Yeah.
And the fact that you did not put in your vows what you promised to me for years, like Cold Stone Creamery would say.
I threatened.
Like it, love it, gotta have it.
That's for a vow renewal down the line.
Oh my God. Okay, 5 years from now you can say that. That's
yes.
fun. If you like the vibe we're putting out here, we do bi-weekly episodes of this on the Patreon, which you can get for just $5 a month. We have like 20 episodes of this.
Yeah, it has its own mythos. We've done like follow-ups to the follow-ups. Mm-hmm. There was a nesting doll of reveals. It's a good show.
I know. You can figure out why I keep saying the Entourage Oh Yeah.
Yes.
It's a whole thing. So please hop on the Patreon at patreon.com/games and feelings if you like what we're doing here. But since this is a main feed episode here on the Games and Feelings feed, we do need to do our first segment, Game That Is Giving Us Feelings. This can be anything going on, any game that you're playing. It doesn't have to be news, but you do need to share the adjective that it is giving you, like it is a old school live journal post.
Yes.
Amanda, would you like to start?
I absolutely would, Eric, because a game that is giving me hopeful feelings is Pokemon Go.
Always for you.
Which I never left, for the record, but I've been especially on it during the Panini. And they, a couple months ago, in late December 2022, added a new poke which is always exciting because they don't have the whole Pokedex yet. They keep adding ones, and you can catch them, and it's exciting. For a player like me who particularly and basically exclusively plays Pokemon to catch them all, it's great. And the one they added is Vivillon. This is an evolution of Scatterbug, the adorable Poke.
Scatterbug, ooh, Scatterbug.
Doo-doo-doo.
Yeah, no, that's it.
And basically, you have to collaborate with other people from different parts of the world to get access to all the regional variations of this Pokemon. There are, I think, over 12. Oh, yeah, there's 18 types of patterns from different regions. And so we're here in the polar region, Eric.
Sad.
Yeah.
Thanks, Japan.
Well, actually, it might be modern. I don't really know where this map cuts off. But I have to trade with people from like the South Pacific to get garden variety. You have to get sun from Australia or Mexico or Madagascar. And so there are Reddit threads of people with their friend code, the region that they're in, the regions that they're looking for. And so you can go on and say, hey, I'm here in the modern region, I can send you, this one, and then they have to send me a different one.
I'm looking at this image, which is a really, really pretty, like, artistically, it's kind of like paper craft map of the entire world. It's the Mercator projection. Sorry, I tried too hard. But then they put the different forms of the, what's the name of the Pokemon? Vivillon on top of it. So it's kind of interesting how, like, you're taking this like Pokemon idea of like, oh, different ones of these butterflies thrive in different land types, and you're just like slapping that on top of the world map. But it's kind of artistic. I also love the big Russia.
Russia and China, not an option.
No.
So it's really exciting because I was like, God, I'm not getting the progress as fast as I need to, and you need to like trade hundreds and hundreds of gifts with other trainers in order to get these pokes, not to mention get all the like credit and XP that you need to evolve them. And so just seeing this Reddit thread with like 50,000 well-organized comments of people saying like, this is what I got, this is what I need. I'm in suburbia, so I can't send you a gift every day, but I promise I will. Like, it's so adorable. And I put my code up, and within minutes I had like 15 different friend requests from people who want to give me the things I need. And I just love, it feels very old school internet to me in a way, of just people organizing themselves well to try to like beat basically a progress hamper that the game has put on us.
I like that. Is this image from IGN? Who made this image? Because we're going to put this in the episode description.
This image is from IGN's guide to Vivillon and getting all of these.
It just looked like Pokemon made it, which is why I'm really interested in it. Like, I don't know. I'm surprised that someone still works in games media who has like the skill and ability to do this.
I'm not positive. I think it's IGN.
Interesting. Well, we're going to look into it, and we'll definitely put a link to it in the episode description. I have 3 small games that are giving me feelings. I think the first one is successful, and I'm going to use the word game loosely, as in the social media game. I went down to Acme Fish & Co., which is like makes incredible locks and whitefish, and they have like their distribution plant is near our apartment in the Multitude studio. So I go on Fridays and I can actually get fish at like market rate, or not market rate, the opposite of market rate.
Wholesale prices.
So I picked up a bunch, and I usually do, but they had like a free bagel and lox thing that they were doing with a thing in New York City.
You can say it, a pop-up.
I guess it was a pop-up. It was fun, but it was free though, so I don't consider that a pop-up.
That's true. Like a promotional event.
Yeah, so I got it, and it was really fun. And also the people at Acme recognized me.
Yay! Local Jewish food influencer Eric Silver!
So that just made me feel good, and I felt very successful in the things that I was doing. The next feeling I have is fucked around and found out, as in everyone who is streaming the Harry Potter game right now.
Yes. Oh my God, Jumbler is all over. That's Jewish Tumblr.
Oh, thank you. Shout out to Jumbler.
I learned about it yesterday.
No, Jumbler is incredible. I need to get on Jumbler. Amanda, hook me up on Jumbler. I was like,
all right, what's the tag that's not Jews? Because that's not going to be good.
No.
And Jumbler is it?
Yeah, hook me up on Jumbler, please.
You got it.
And I really like the push that people have been doing. Listen, this game has already sold a kajillion copies, and it is the most streamed game on Twitch, even though it is like explicitly about putting down a Jewish coded uprising.
Yeah.
And it's like the anti-Semitic, someone called it like the anti-Semitic role-playing game.
Yeah,
so that was really fun. Or the anti-Semitic simulator. And of course, like all that money does go to J.K. Rowling, who spends all of her time turfing it up. So it's like, but the people who are streaming it and using it for content are finally getting their comeuppance, which is awesome. That like people are getting told that like it's not the right thing to do in their Twitch streams, and like they're acting like big babies, which is awesome. I've been seeing spoilers for the game going around like very largely. I don't think any of you are playing the game, but
in an effort to like spoil people who would otherwise enjoy it.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, because you don't get to enjoy your anti-Semitic simulation game.
Tight.
Which I think is just really, really awesome. My eyes keep glazing over it, even though I see the spoilers. Like, I wish I could say that right now what it is.
Sure, yeah.
But like, I don't even know. Like, I just see it. I'm like, nice, and I keep scrolling.
Yeah.
And just like anyone who's making money off of Harry Potter in the year of our Lord 2023 in media, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I can't believe that that's happening, and I'm glad that people are getting their comeuppance in this way.
Yeah.
And then the third thing, just to quickly move past this, because I do not want to fucking talk about this shit anymore, the Harry Potter thing. I'm really interested. I'm like quizzical about the new Legend of Zelda game. So
Really?
you might all know about Breath of the Wild, the hit game, one of the first games that came out for the Nintendo Switch in like 2017 or 2018, if you can believe that. And it's considered one of the best games of all time. A lot of people have it all the way up there, right? And now they're doing a sequel. And the second trailer has come out recently. And it's supposed to come out May 12th, right? And then I keep thinking about like, well, how do you improve on greatness? Like, what does a sequel to the best game of all time look like? And I've been thinking about this for Mario Odyssey 2, which I assume is going to come out at some point, probably at the end of this year.
Really?
That's my prediction. I'm going to say this right now. That like, there's just not a lot going on for Nintendo in the second half of the year. Like, it's Legend of Zelda in May, and then there's not really anything in late summer and fall of 2023. So like, I wonder if there's something in there. Interesting. So I keep thinking about like, how do you make a sequel to one of the best games of all time? And they're keeping a lot of the same stuff. They're adding stuff on top of it. It seems like there's some vehicles involved. There's like some sky stuff involved. I'm very excited about it. I'm super hype, and everyone is like scrying over it like you do in Easter eggs, right?
Like a lost episode.
Truly. Like they're looking over the trailers and looking at like what indications we have. And I'm just like, I wonder what they're going to do. And if there's anyone to do it, it's Nintendo, who really holds themselves to this very specific, like, creative philosophy. And they're putting the shine into it. That's why this game has been delayed a few times. And everyone is just, like, waiting patiently, because Breath of the Wild is still interesting.
Yeah.
And Tears of the Kingdom is going to be just as interesting, and I think is going to blow everything out of the water. But I'm just like, what does it mean to make a sequel to the best thing of all time?
It's really interesting. I think for me, part of it is just more world, more stories. Like that's the same impulse that brings me to fan fiction is, I don't need new, I don't need different, I don't even need a continuation of the story. I just want more. I don't want it to end.
Yeah, I wonder if more is interesting for games, because I think about like The Last of Us 1 and The Last of Us 2, and they really tried to like make an Oscar movie out of that game. Like it was barely a game. It was like a interactive cinematic experience, and people also love it and think it's one of the best games of all time. I don't want to like go through a violence is the worst simulator.
Yeah.
And that's just me. And also the jump scares are too scary, both in the game and in the show, for me to watch, but I hear it's great. I'm sure it is great. But for a game, for something that's like such a capital V, capital G video game with something that is out on the Nintendo Switch, like it's not just about like making more fan fiction or like doing a hack, It's like there's a reason why they didn't call it Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah.
Because I guess there is story here and it's continuing this like particular Zelda timeline. But yeah, I'm just like, yeah, it's like you need to do the same thing, but more, and also buff out some of the frustrations that people had. Like, for example, in Breath of the Wild, like the weapons fall apart really quickly.
Yes.
And that's a really big sticking point with a lot of people. It was definitely an intentional design choice, right? Like, oh, weapons here are not permanent, right? Like, if this is supposed to be a like vague post-apocalyptic, whatever this means. So that was definitely intentional, but I wonder if they're going to change that because a lot of people complained about it, or are they going to keep to it because it's like their design philosophy. So I don't know. It's like I'm turning it over in my head, and that's the thing that's like going to keep me up for the next few months until the game. I'm like, what is it going to be? What could it be? What obligations does a game designer have to you if the next thing that they're doing is doing a sequel to the best game of all time?
Well, it sounds like people are really excited to go wherever they want to take them. And you and I are big on intentionality. Like, it doesn't have to, I think it's part of why we really like heist and action movies and like, real genre, like big, like a meaty hamburger of like whatever genre film it is. Like, we'll both really enjoy it because we like following where the creators want to take us. And I think that's what makes something really immersive and lovely. So maybe it's a good sign that people can't expect exactly what they're going to do because there's a vision and they're clearly pursuing it if they have waited this long and invested this much and the expectations are this high.
Yeah, for sure. Amanda, did you know that the writer of episode 6 of Poker Face was the creator of Leverage?
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Did you also know that the creator of Leverage used to be a defense attorney in Florida? Before?
That I did know. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I learned all that on a podcast recently, and I just heard about it. Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I thought you would just enjoy that.
Yeah, hell yeah. Wow, what a fun reveal.
Everyone go watch Leverage and also watch Poker Face.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you want to understand Amanda more, just watch all of the episodes of Leverage.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Eric, ready for some replay questions here?
Time to replay and reply. So I'm putting on my seatbelt. I need to adjust now. I have to adjust my seat. So hold on. Wait, hold on. Oh, my AirPods were down there. I was stuck in my AirPods. Ding, ding. Doo-doo-doo. Welcome, Eric. I hope you enjoyed what you were doing before you were driving the car. Thanks, car. All right, I'm ready, Amanda.
All right, Eric. This question comes from Dear Abby.
Hold on. Everyone's applauding for my joke. Hold on. Wait for applause. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
This question comes from Dear Abby, one of the prototypical advice columns of the internet and English-speaking North American world. This is from 2018 specifically, and I like to bring you questions that I think get at sort of the philosophy of like, what are games and what is fun? So this is where we're starting today.
Oh my God. Everything's changed ever since you started searching with the search term competition.
Yes. That's right.
Here we go.
So, Dear Abby, I tend to react poorly when someone pulls a prank on me.
We have this running joke about like who is the kind of person who writes into an advice column.
Yeah.
And I'm imagining like a Victorian woman
Yeah.
sitting down and writing a letter.
That's right, Eric.
Like there's like Pride and Prejudice sounds and like cross cuts on different ways of
Skirts
someone
swooshing and
and like a candle burning somewhere.
She has a little tiny penknife just to cut off the fresh tip of her quill.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Ladies used to carry many more knives than they do now.
You carry more knives than the regular woman, though.
Yeah, that's why I'm a cool girl. I'm not a regular girl.
I'm not one of those regular girls who don't have knives.
Yeah. Okay. I tend to react poorly when someone pulls a prank on me. My reaction is usually anger, hurt, or embarrassment, and I end up saying or doing things I later regret because emotion took over.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. I'm not someone who likes pranks either.
Well, Eric, my husband has always liked playing pranks.
No, why did you marry him?
And
you didn't figure this. Okay, hold on. My favorite thing is pausing and seeing what's going to happen next. How did she not know?
Yes.
Before they were married, I'm sure he pulled pranks on her multiple times, but probably and he regaled her with. And I assume question asker is female.
Yes, she is.
And he regaled her with like, oh, do you want to hear the prank we pulled on Schmitty in college? Like that comes up, if you're a pranks person, that comes up date 2.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I can also really see a world where, the letter writer is probably in her early 40s.
Yes.
So I can see a world where, especially before like communication and like snaps into Z formation, he's not just that into you culture is a thing, saying like,
sure.
Oh, haha.
Leave him, honey.
Right.
Let's go. I also snapped into Z formation.
Of course.
I don't know
Listeners can hear it.
Did the microphone pick up the locale of my snaps?
Eric, that's why we have this binaural audio
That's what it's
microphone
for.
in front of us.
That's why we use Dolby Atmos, so you can pick up my physical work.
Exactly. But I can see you just writing that off as like, oh, funny, like a personality quirk that, I don't share, but haha. And, 15 years into your marriage, it has a different import.
Is this like, I don't remember where I heard this, but it's like, the things that you originally liked about someone starts to like curdle later on in like a bad relationship is like, oh, their childlike whimsy is like, no, they're just a fucking child who likes pranks.
Yeah. I mean, I think that happens with anyone you spend a lot of time with and the It happens.
How's my childlike whimsy? Is it good?
It's better than ever has.
Still whimsical. People love it. Everyone loves it.
Yeah. But I mean, also, you also like, I don't know, do dishes and remember the groceries we need. So life's good.
You also know how to use a vacuum, so it balances out. Yeah,
life's great.
Yeah.
Okay. So my husband has always liked playing pranks. That's where we paused. The second half of that sentence, Eric's, is, and my children have started to follow his lead.
No shit. Uh-oh.
The pranks tend to be things like ice cubes down the back of my shirt,
That's not a prank.
No.
That's not a prank.
bopping the end of a glass or bottle while drinking so it splashes in my face,
That's also not a prank.
snapping wet towels, etc.
That's not a prank.
No, it's not.
Oh my God.
I don't like it. I never do it to them. And if I react, I'm made out to be the bad guy because I, quote, can't take a joke.
Sure. Yep. Can we quickly, and I want to say this to you because I just yelled not a prank 3 times. What does a prank mean to you?
This is what I thought was interesting. So one time as a child, I was on StumbleUpon on the early internet.
Sure, of course.
And read about a prank where you tie a rubber band around the like hose part of a sink so that when you turn on, like, you know, where you have to like hold the hose part of a sink to like make it spray.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you can like tie a rubber band around it, and then when you turn the sink on, you expect it to come out the spout, but no, it comes out the hose and it's pointing at you.
Got it.
So I did that once to my dad when I was like 8 or 9.
Uh-oh.
And
You were stumbling when you were 9?
oh yeah, it was way too
geez.
early. Oh, I saw some shit. And he and I have felt bad about that for the 22 years since. And I talked to him about it recently, and he was like, "Oh no, it really tickled me because like I didn't think you were the kind of kid who pranked, and that's the only one and only time I did." But I was also like, it was probably like 6 a.m. He probably had to catch a train and had to then like change his shirt as he like went to work. So I think that a prank is something that has no real inconveniencing power to a person. It doesn't hurt you physically. It doesn't embarrass you. It doesn't scare you into doing something wild. Like, I guess a prank could be like the thing with the snake where like you think it's a coffee can and you open it and like it pops out a snake. But then I hate every kind of that. Like I am not I'm not the target audience for these kinds of jokes. A prank to me is like you say, "Oh, Amanda, the grocery store was out of the thing you like. They had this thing you like better." Like that to me is the prank. But I'm not the best person perhaps to answer this.
Can I push back on it? Because I think that what you're saying is these are the acceptable parameters in which I would say that a prank is good. Like,
yes.
You're like,
no, yes.
if you're going to do a tomfoolery on me, I want this to
Okay.
be as unintrusive to me as possible.
So yes,
I think that's what you just said.
A prank is a like reversed expectation. It's you get something when you're expecting something else.
Okay. I think that a prank is something that involves planning. And the example you gave of the rubber band on the hose involved you setting something up and someone stumbling into it. Like another prank is like a very basic one is like water bucket on door.
Yes, I can't
jam.
or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
a real
Because-
Parent Trap situation.
But that's like you set it up and then you have someone fall into it.
Yeah.
And maybe I have very high standards after Punked, where it's like these elaborate things and you want to see what someone's reaction is in kind of like a, ridiculous situation. That's what I feel like a prank is. A prank requires planning.
Yes.
These examples are just bullying.
Acting out. Yeah.
Are just jerk moves.
Yeah.
That you can say, haha, I pranked you, but really no. Like, if this was a setup, like a perfect prank is when you go in somewhere and everything is wrapped in some sort of foil.
Mm-hmm.
That is a prank to me because someone spent a lot of time inconveniencing you and you're like, I really like the planning you put into this, even if it's ridiculous. So that's my definition.
Yeah. You're like, oh wow, I can appreciate the whole wind up here.
Yes.
And even a temporary flash of like embarrassment or now I'm wet, I end up laughing because it's like, that was great. That was well executed.
I can't believe you put me in a situation where now I'm wet. Like,
Right.
I don't know how you did that because I was not expecting it.
Yeah.
So that's to me what I think a prank is.
I think that's great.
Okay, so great. I'm glad. Are we in agreement of what a prank is?
Yes.
These 3 things are not pranks.
No, they're not. They're not.
No.
So the question here is, I never get an apology from the pranksters. Is this normal? Are there others out there who don't like being the object of pranks? How do I get my family to understand that being subjected to these jokes isn't funny to me? And it's signed Unamused in Indiana.
Okay, so what's the game thing here?
The game thing is, what is a prank? And how do you make sure that the people involved in the prank consent to being in the prank?
Oh, yeah, don't prank someone who doesn't like being pranked.
Yeah.
That's it. It's literally that simple.
Yes.
I also don't understand what these people get out of it. Like, yes, the children are aping their father because I assume they're all young enough where they think that your dad is like a fucking superhero, right?
Yes.
As you usually do from like 4 to 10-ish. Or if you have a good dad afterwards. So the children don't understand. But if you look at someone and be like, oh, I keep doing this to me, and they get mad, and it's not like funny mad, like it doesn't go away after a while and they're just like upset, why would I keep doing it to them?
Yeah, because you like making other people feel bad.
Right. It's like you're obviously not considering this person's feelings, and that's bad, and you're a bad person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is what Dear Abby got at in her answer, which she wrote, again, 2018, jokes at the expense of others can be funny as long as everyone agrees that they're funny. And so that was the sort of like opening premise that I wanted to run by you. She continues, because you've told your husband you don't find his pranks amusing and find them hurtful, I can only conclude his sense of humor is sadistic and it set a poor example for your children.
Yeah, I wonder if doing in response pranking your husband once, like doing one very elaborate prank that's not just like fucking around, that's like, oh, I'm going to set up this entire thing where you think something bad is really happening and I'm going to have all your friends in on it and I'm going to prank you and you're going to see how it feels. And then you're going to be like, hey, how was that? And even if your husband says, you like being pranked, I'm like, oh, okay, well, you saw how much work I put into it. Do not prank me unless you're going to do this amount of work, because your husband sounds fucking lazy as shit and will not rise to the occasion.
Eric, once again, you and Dear Abby on the same exact wavelength. So her end of her answer is, I wonder how your husband would feel if you informed him after a hard day that his accountant had called saying he owes $25,000 in back taxes. Ha ha ha. Or
oh, Dear Abby.
If you poured a pitcher of ice water on him at 2 a.m., would that be equally funny? Normally, I wouldn't stoop to that level, but this may be an exception. I like yours, though, because the effort is like, not only do you get to feel how bad it is for this to happen to you, but also I'm better at it than you.
I just like the idea, though, what Dear Abby said about the ice water at 2 a.m. That's like, how is that any different than putting ice down my back at any time? It's not. It's exactly the same.
Yes.
And if you say, oh, it's because I was sleeping, I'm like, okay, but it's the same thing if I'm cooking.
I was cooking. Sitting, yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's exactly the same. So I think you need to balance the two. I think the only way to get through, because first of all, I'm sorry you made a choice to husband this person.
Yeah.
But I think the only thing is to say, like, you need to actually put time and effort into pranks or we can't do it. And you have to tell the children to stop because it's fucking annoying.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you don't get to turn my children against me because you like pranks. Parenting's wild, man. That's why I only parent a podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Eric, and I picked up some snacks for the Games and Feelings mid-roll. I got a pumpkin pie for everyone. Don't just have to eat it on Thanksgiving. It's good all the time. I think you should be a part of the Patreon at patreon.com/gamesandfeelings. I'm recording this early, so if you joined, I will say your name next week. But something evergreen, which I say every single week, is that the 100 patron goal, I will go across an entire ocean, the pond, and bother Jasper in person in the United Kingdom. We're going to make contact. We'll do some videos. We'll watch some sports. And I hope you will enjoy that. And they'll be exclusive to the patrons as soon as we hit that goal. Thank you to everyone who is on the Patreon already and enjoying the wonderful content that is there, like the replay episodes, but special shout out to producer level patrons Polly Burridge, Kelsey Duffy, and Megan Moon, who, when they win at bar trivia, immediately use their prize of a 20% discount off their tab for everyone. Like, they put everyone on their tab and they pay for the drinks. And then Venmo, and then they figure it out on Venmo later. You should check out the other shows that are part of the Multitude Collective, and I think you'd like the new show by me called Tell Me About It. Tell Me About It is a madcap game show about proving that the things you like are actually interesting and fun. Hosted by Adil Rafai, who you might know from Hello from the Magic Tavern and Hey Riddle Riddle, and our very own Eric Silver, that's me! Adil is an eccentric billionaire who's wrangled me, his audio butler, to prove that the single most interesting and cool thing ever is the movie musical Grease. Every episode, a guest comes on to share and defend their favorite thing through a series of absurd games and challenges, all in the name of winning points and getting on the high score board. The first 2 episodes are out now, one with Matt Young of Hello from the Magic Tavern, and the other with Janet Varney of Avatar, The Legend of Korra, and the many, many podcasts that she hosts and guests on. New episodes after that are out every other Thursday. Tell Me About It, the most fun podcast run by a multi-billionaire. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. When you are your best self, you know that you're firing on all cylinders. It's like rolling 20s all of the time. It's something like you can kind of get there if you're drinking caffeine, if you're drinking a lot of coffee, but then it feels like you're grinding up your insides, like it's a risk-reward thing. You got to sacrifice your guts in exchange for like being your best self or having high energy. But if you understand what's going on in your emotions, it's easier for you to become your best self. You set boundaries, you learn positive coping skills, and you're able to work through the stuff that usually holds you down. And the best way to do that is with therapy. If you're thinking about giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option. It's flexible, it's convenient, it's affordable, and it's online. Never have to do that in person. Just fill out a brief questionnaire, get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists if you guys aren't clicking. If you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/gamesandfeelings today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/gamesandfeelings. And now, back to the games.
Ready for our next question?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, this is from, I've gone into subreddits recently as well, expanding my remit here for the replay.
Please.
And I found one called Girl Gamers.
Are girl gamers?
Are girl gamers.
Okay.
Yeah, which, has its ups and downs, but has some real moments of sweetness and community support, particularly of trans girl gamers, which I think is really sweet. And so this question is from 2022, and I think is also theoretical, but much sweeter. I wanted to make sure I had a little digestif after that first question.
Okay, sure. I'm glad, because the Dear Abby questions are always like, hey, why is my life so bad?
Yeah.
Why is it so bad?
So the title of this question is, a guy asked me if we can arrange a game date, and it caught me by surprise.
Oh, huh. Okay.
So the question goes, I feel weird writing this.
Oh, wait, hold on. I forgot. This is Reddit. So if it's a very innocuous title, the question's going to be absolutely fucking terrible. I forgot. Oh, yeah. No. Sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No. Here we go. I feel weird writing this. My whole life I was dealing with toxic men that were trying to gatekeep games from me, first at school, then at my workplace. That's a tragic backstory. Everyone I know plays games one way or another. Then the universe hit me. I've met a person that doesn't play games and ended up dating him. He's an engineer, he's into sports and camping, very outdoorsy, and recently he asked me if he could join me on my game session. It took me by surprise, mostly because I play single-player stuff. Do you play with a person you're dating? And how do you choose the games? Am I overthinking this because a dude suddenly asked me to introduce him to games? I think I need some moral support from the girls on this one. So I thought it was really sweet.
Hey, gamers, help me out. Gamers.
Yeah.
I love that. There is a very specific type of guy, especially when you said engineer. I'm like, oh, okay. Who like chooses two hobbies and only does those two hobbies.
Yes.
And apparently his two hobbies are sports and camping, and it never ventured into the other thing. So hopefully boyfriend is, I'm going to assume from context clues that he's coming at this like honestly and truly.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, well, what do you think? What do you think about being a girl gamer and letting someone in? Because you have terrible dating stories. So I want to hear what your experience is.
Well, a lot of the comments were around like, listen, he's interested in your hobbies. It's really sweet. Like, don't overthink this because of your past bad experiences. Like, he's interested in getting to know the things you want to do in the way that you might go on a hike or a camping trip with him,
right.
At some point.
I think it is a very equivalent of you going on a camping trip. I think
totally. And so I would view it as, if you're going hiking or camping with somebody, and normally I do like 3-night, long haul overnight camping trips. Maybe this time we'll do one where we like park in a parking lot and camp like outside the car. That way, it's you start at a kind of approachable level. And so similarly, I think that if, this is mostly video games in the Girl Gamer subreddit. So maybe start with like a co-op, start with, Stardew Valley, start with something that doesn't require a lot of that like gaming lingua franca that you and Jasper and Mischa were talking about earlier in the month, where, your boyfriend's not going to feel out of his depth. And if one person primarily does the sort of like skill-based stuff, and the other person can like, decorate, pet the horse, plant the parsnips, that would be a really sweet entry point.
Yeah, I get that. I also want to say that Stardew Valley is incredibly intimidating, ma'am.
Really?
Yeah. If you threw me into Stardew Valley, I would have no idea what to do.
But in co-op, we're both on the same screen, so I can show you what to do.
Yeah, but like, I don't want to do farming and stuff. Like, I think that and this is something that we were just talking about in a previous Games and Feelings, like the farming sim and the Animal Crossing sim, like that genre, that's a very intense genre that has like power gamers and stuff in it. And like, I am loath to say if we are being egalitarian about this, because people do shunt that as girl games. I want to be egalitarian and say like, that is a very specific genre. It's like, I don't know if doing trying to find like the easy, like unless you're gonna play like Jackbox or whatever, like literally a party game.
Yes.
Like I think that I want to push back on what you're saying is like, how do you let someone into the game that you love the most? Like, how would you let me into Stardew Valley when I find it deeply intimidating? Similar to how this girl gamer couldn't think of a better way to say it. I'm just saying from first person, I think like this could be anywhere from like God of War or The Last of Us to like FPS, first person shooters, or Overwatch or Destiny or something.
Yeah, I think it has to be the right call. Like the reason why I use that example is because a co-op game, and that's really the only game I play that has a co-op mode, means that there is not pressure on your boyfriend to like pull his weight in the game, and you're not going against each other either. A bunch of people recommended things like Mario Kart, which I think is interesting, but I played Mario Kart with you. You're incredibly good at it. I never played Mario Kart growing up. I played a total of like 20 minutes of Mario Kart in my life, and like it's not fun for me. But playing Double Dash is, where you drive and I get to pick up and throw things, and that was a lot more fun for me. And knowing me as a person, you're not throwing me into a situation where like I'm going to fail the team. You're like, oh no, you can like pick up the items and throw them, and if you don't do a good job, it's fine. So
what does the guy want? I think let's clarify this. What does he want? Because you like just sitting there and watching me play games, which could be something he wants. I mean, that's not weird anymore with the advent of streaming.
Yeah.
That like just sitting and watching someone play games is fun for you. Is that what he wants? Does he want to play? Does he want to play her game that she plays the most or want to be a part of that? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Because Mario Kart, I agree, is hard. It is ostensibly a party game, but you can still be really good at it. Like, you could just throw on Mario Party. Mario Party has so much randomness that anyone can win. For example, all of a sudden... For example, Amanda was like, oh, I want to play Mario Party. I'm like, oh my God, great. And then you won both of the games that we played.
Well, one of them I was holding a really cute baby for our friends while we were babysitting her. So,
that was the power.
That helped.
That was Penny's power.
Penny's power. My lucky little Penny. I think that his ask here is for his girlfriend to introduce him to games. And so I think she is thinking, is this a trap or is this a test?
Sure.
And he's saying, I want to like the thing you like. I've never been into this, and maybe you can show me what it's like. So I think the real challenge here is to introduce him to like a buffet of things, see what he enjoys. People recommended stuff like, It Takes Two, A Way Out, Portal 2 has fun co-op.
So It Takes Two and A Way Out are both games made to be played co-op. So they're specifically about that. So that could be fun, about doing things and relying on each other in a kind of equal manner that you have to play. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to gauge is like, does he want to learn your thing? Does he want to learn how to get into games? Does he just want to be around? Does he want to go to like party games? Because like I've done a bunch with Rue and Rue's friends, which have been really fun. Like, because it's not just Jackbox. You can play Clue, you can play Life, you could play Stick Fight, which is very straightforward and very fun. Like, there's a lot of like very lightweight games, or Among Us for that matter. They're very lightweight games that you can play with a group of people. But I'm just trying to figure out what this guy wants. Yeah, well, and you should ask.
Exactly. I think, as always, asking follow-up questions to the person who introduced the question is the way forward.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, Op was really tickled. She posted in an edit, left this post overnight and returned to see so many people helping me. Thank you so much. There were a lot of fun co-op suggestions. For now, we agreed to CAAL. What does that mean? Each other? Oh, to call. I was like, is that a kind of co-op play? No, it's a typo of call each other on Discord.
The word call.
So I could stream RE8 to him while we talk, and if he feels like playing with me, we'll try It Takes Two. But we compiled the list of your suggestions, so if it all goes well, we'll play more.
Oh, Resident Evil 8. That's actually a very good one. It's a new game. That's the one with the big vampire lady with the claw.
Yeah, oh, I know.
Yeah, Lady Dimitrescu. So that could be fun. Yeah, I'm sure you two like horror movies and you could just watch doing it. So yeah, we'll see where he's at and then go from there.
Yeah.
Also, a Discord call is perfect for this, especially I assume you're a gamer girl. If you're streaming it in 1080p, you can turn your frame up. Crisp. Turn your frame rate all the way up. And then he can like do other stuff. Like he'll comment on your independent one private game stream.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be really fun.
Yeah. Commenter White Moon Rose said, explaining to him what you're doing as you're playing some of your favorite games is really useful. I love doing that with my husband and daughter. Sometimes one of them will be playing, sometimes it's me, but showing them what I'm doing and why, what I've accomplished and like what I'm up to next is something you do for me. Where I'm like, oh, Eric, have you found the piece in One Piece? No. Oh, Eric, have you, why are you going after that little leaf in Breath of the Wild? And you were like, I need a little leaf. And I am like, oh, yeah.
He's a little guy. And then you hear, yaha!
And I go, wee. But I can follow along. And it like that's what I enjoy about watching you play. I don't have the pressure of needing to do it, but I can follow along. And it's a way to, make me feel involved in the game. And then it's like watching a Let's Play and I get to just enjoy it.
Yeah, if you want to get better at this, I recommend you watch videos from Games Done Quick from GDQ.
Oh, yeah.
The speedrunners that do this are really good at explaining what they're doing while they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually made me learn how to do it too, to describe what I'm doing as I'm doing it. I really challenged myself. I think we did this a while ago when I was playing Enter the Gungeon on old streams that we used to do. And I was like, there is so much going on and I want to explain what's happening while I'm doing it. It's definitely a skill, but I think you can work at it. And it's a very helpful skill to talk about what you're doing while you're doing it, regardless if you're playing a game or doing a PowerPoint presentation or anything. That's just a good public speaking skill. So I think y'all should look into it.
100%.
You can really tell who's good at it. There are people who are famous on Twitch just for being good at describing stuff.
Yes, they are. And I know it too. I'm like, oh my God, yes. Like this person is commenting, for this other streamer while they're playing the game. I love that.
Yeah. There's a guy, Spike Vegeta, who has the big hair.
Mm-hmm.
There's Dangers, who you like. And you found out that Dangers is gay. So that was
I knew
awesome.
Dangers was gay. And Eric's like, Amanda, I'm not telling you you're wrong. I just haven't seen any textual evidence. And I'm like, I think he's gay.
And then we figured out, he's gay. And then there's the guy from the Pokemon streams.
Yes.
Keyzeron. You can just Google Pokemon Jinx impression and Keyzeron will come up because he does this all the time. It's such a meme. It's just because they're good at saying stuff while explaining speedruns, which is incredible.
So good.
Yeah, definitely a good skill. I hope this gamer girl found her gamer boy. She was a gamer girl. She said, see you later, fool. It wasn't good enough to frag.
Nice.
Yeah, I tried my best. All right, I think we have time for one more, Amanda.
All right, Eric. It wouldn't be a replay without an Ask a Manager question.
Woo! Let's learn about work.
All right. This, I'm just going to get right into it. I can't, the preamble would not be as surprising as the question. So, this is from August 2018. Where I work, there are a little over 100 employees with 8 department managers. About 5 years ago, upper management decided to set up a committee comprised of one person from each department to plan activities and events for all employees throughout the year, such as charity fundraisers, the office holiday party, an ice cream day, and so on.
This is how you set up, bosses in a video game.
Yes.
It's like, oh, the department heads from the 5 departments. And then you have to fight them each way to get to the CEO.
One of the fundraising activities they've done for the past few years is a Pie a Manager in the Face charity fundraiser.
Okay, that's fine.
The basic premise is that for each dollar you donate to the selected charity, you get to cast a vote for which department manager you think should get a pie in the face.
Honestly, can I say, this is actually really funny.
I think you would really enjoy this.
But imagine, hey, everyone knows that Dave sucks, right? So, hey, why don't we use that and get people to pie Dave in the face? This is mobilizing the fact that people don't like their managers.
Well, Eric, we're going to get deeper into this premise.
I love it.
So the voting goes on for a week or so, and then the department manager who, quote, won gets a pie slapped into their face in front of everyone.
Sure.
This tends to be touted by the planning committee as a get back at your boss kind of thing.
I understand. I think this is a little medieval. For sure. This is a pretty put the king in stocks and pie them for that matter.
Right.
But I mean, this is close to guillotine as we're going to get in the American office. I'll take it.
I know. So I'm curious where you come down on this. So I've always been very uncomfortable with the event and don't participate in the voting, though I still make a small donation to the charity on my own, nor do I go watch the pieing. It seems cruel to single out a manager as one who deserves to be punished for being a, quote, bad manager. And it also seems tone deaf to imply that a pie in the face is a good way for employees to deal with managers they don't like.
No, I 100% agree. I don't think this is, like, good. I think if they're going to do something like this, again, buy people breakfast is still always give them a raise and buy them breakfast is what I always say. I agree with question asker, but it's like, I don't know. Humans are weird. Humans love violence. Humans love watching people get embarrassed. And it's like, hey, Jim, you got pied in the face 4 weeks in a row. What am I missing here?
Right.
Like, if I was a good CEO, I would use this to observe office dynamics. It's almost like human experiment, or Stanford experiment-esque, right?
Yeah, it is.
And one of the managers is the prison warden.
They were all randomly assigned.
They were just randomly assigned.
They took on the traits that they.
It was fine. It wasn't problematic at all. Stop asking. Stop asking.
The question finishes with, obviously my company's making this worse by framing this as revenge against your boss. But am I off base to think that the whole concept is generally a bad idea, no matter how it's presented?
Yeah, I agree. It's reinforcing the worst things about office culture, but they're trying to, quote unquote, put power in the workers' hands, even if that's kind of bullshit and it's only in the limited capacity that is allowed in the American office. What do you think before we read the answer?
I am spoiled by the answer, but I'm going to say I think I agree with Allison here.
Okay, no, what is your personal thing? If this was happening, if you had the opportunity to pie, would you participate? Because I feel like I would understand. I feel like understanding workers' rights is like seeing the Matrix.
It is.
It's like, oh, I see what you're trying to do here. You're trying to make me docile and do this bullshit thing at work so that I will enjoy myself better, but not actually give anything to me. So like, I'll see this, and what I'll do is like, hey, we all think Jim sucks, right? Can we just like make a statement and make sure that Jim gets pied? Like, if I can't have a union in my office, I will organize a union to pie Jim every single week.
Yes, I would definitely clock this as management's, attempt at placating, people's bad feelings once a year in like a, gladiatorial fashion.
Is this once a week, though?
Once a year.
Oh, it's once a year.
It's an annual fundraiser, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought it was once
not
a week.
Weekly pieing. No.
I thought it was a week.
Oh my God.
It was a weekly pieing.
No, Eric. It's once a year.
Oh, the voting goes on for a week or so.
For 1 week, yeah.
Okay, sorry. I thought it was a weekly
Oh my God, no way.
To like keep donations up all year.
This is not the lottery where we sacrifice a manager each week. No. So I would immediately clock this.
Okay, so ignore all the things that I've said so far.
How does this change?
Imagine it's funnier if it's the lottery. No, it's like it's almost like the purge. It's a weekly purge.
Oh my God.
They're keeping us docile by getting our...
If you have to do a weekly pieing to keep your employees docile, there's much more that's wrong under the surface.
Well, that's why I thought it was interesting. That's why I thought it was gladiatorial instead of once a year.
Oh, it's Friday afternoon. Better get out the bib. Like, no.
Okay, so then no, this is more bullshit. I agree. This is more bullshit. But I would also organize a massive drive to pie someone, and I wonder if they like looked at the numbers. Like, okay, let's say that Jim has been doing impropriety, is a bad manager, treats people poorly, only promotes the guys that he likes on his team, right? Mm-hmm. I would make sure that every single dollar went to Jim.
Yeah.
Or at least 90%. If this is happening, they probably do not want us to make a statement. So I'm still going to do this, but I don't think I can push back in any sort of like real way.
No, I mean, if you could, you would have tried that, and other people would have tried that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would not participate because I would sense that this was a trap. And it would feel, even if everybody else does it, part of me would be like, surely somewhere at some point, Jim would be like, I know you voted for me to get pied, like you're fired. Like there's no way this doesn't come back to haunt the worker in some way.
Well, what if it's cash? What if every single person walks up and puts cash in the Jim box?
Then yes, I would organize with my fellow workers and make sure that
that's
the
what I
person
assume
most
because
deserving,
again, like it's the most straightforward. Hey, put it in the Jim jar, or put the cash in the jar of the person you want pied.
The Jim Jam jar.
The Jim Jam jar. The jam Jim jar.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
It's good.
Jam Jim in the face with a pie.
Yeah,
With a
but
jam pie.
When
a Jim Jam pie.
when I first saw the headline, which is our fundraiser lets us quote pie manager in the face, I was like, no way I'm picking up a pie and pieing a manager in the face. That's a great way to get fired 2 months later.
No.
Yeah. So do you want to know what Allison thinks?
Sure.
Allison Green, proprietor of Basking Manager.
Can we pie Allison Green in the face? Is there a donation for that?
I think she's down. I think she'd do it.
Yeah, she'd be down a cloud. She'd be down a pie.
For like a good fundraiser, workers' rights fundraiser.
Yeah.
So she says, I think it depends whether it plays out in a mean-spirited way or not. Is the pie in the face usually won by someone who's widely disliked? I can imagine this happening in a good-natured way where the winners are people who it's clear would have fun with it, where they're seen as good sports and doesn't feel like an FU.
No way. That's not how gladiator fights work. That's not how bread and circus work. That's not how bread and circus do. If I talk to my good friends, the Romans, they know two things, embarrassing people and how to make aqueducts without cement.
It's a good joke for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
So she continues, I can also imagine it happening in a mean-spirited way, where people take the chance to punish managers they don't like and where it promotes an us versus them mindset that's unhealthy for any company and definitely isn't the mindset that the company itself should be promoting.
I know Allison Green is trying to be like helpful, but like, have you been to capitalism before?
I know, but neither of us have worked in like a really friendly, like 50-person Midwestern company where everybody like goes to cookouts at their boss's house.
No, I know it's true. But we've only been in terrible places where the workers are pitted against the managers constantly.
Right. Like if this is Yahoo, of course this is hiring a terrible manager.
Oh, is this 7% layoff Inc.?
Right. But I mean, Allison, in her HR jobs may well have worked at a place where it's like, oh, so funny. Like Helen's a great sport. She'll do it and then like pick up my kids from soccer practice later.
Sure. I guess I assume it's all propaganda and maybe it's not somewhere.
So, yeah. I mean, I think this is what she's trying to put a fine point on. She also says, I wonder if managers are allowed to opt out and how it goes over if someone does.
Ooh.
Like she's here to, think about the manager's feelings, which I think in our experience working in media in New York City is not the first thing that comes to mind. And so basically she says, it needs to be something that people have enthusiastically opted into. If every manager there is happy to do it, fine. But I have to wonder if some of them really don't want to be pied in the face and don't feel like they can say that without being pegged as bad sports. Basically, if it's a healthy, happy, high-functioning company with enthusiastic pie recipients, fine. Anything else, ... no.
Oh, boy. It's wild how many of these questions and how just like generally in offices, they're like doing anything that's above and beyond. And like this extra fluff, again, I don't think you have this problem necessarily with breakfast and raises, but always trying to do something extra, like an extra activity or something like bonding or mandatory fun, only opens you up to like letting in the humanity into an office, which in the hermetically sealed diorama of capitalism never works.
Yeah.
Anytime you try to do something fun, you are allowing the fucking like bacteria of people's fucking lives to get into your perfect thing. And I don't think anyone thinks that far ahead. Like you're trying to keep everyone fucking docile. Why would you allow them? It's like, hey, look at all these sheep. What if we like allowed the sheep to play sports? How would the sheep like that? Like no one thinks this far ahead because it's just so easy for them to just succeed on the merits of whatever capitalism allows you to do in an office culture.
Yeah, I think much of the time, mandatory company fun is there to make up for something that they should be doing, like giving you a raise.
Right.
Or answering a question as to like why we do the soul-sucking work that we do.
Right. Like if you gave a pizza party to the team that had the most sales, all you're doing is opening up multiple questions. Like one, why won't you give us a raise or a bonus instead? And two, then you start adding in people's dietary restrictions on top of this and on just kind of mixing all of this together. I don't know. This mandatory fun doesn't work for anyone. And I just don't know why anyone does it. Because it's like all they can think of.
Yeah.
Ugh. Jeez. It reminds me of that thing in Severance with like the egg party or the waffle party.
Exactly.
How, like it's like the most harrowing, terrible scene with like the with the disco and the colored lights, and how harrowing and terrible it is.
If you listen to the replay episodes and enjoy them, you should definitely watch Severance.
Oh, please.
For what it's worth, a lot of people in comments are like, "Listen, that sounds like a dream. I would love to be able to pie some of my old bad managers in the face."
Any good comments?
One person pointed out, like, this company may only want to hire or promote, like, quote, fun people into management.
Yes, exactly.
And a lot of potentially great managers would probably self-select out of that kind of environment and out of those jobs. And yeah, just like, man, there's a lot of room for this to be bad. And even if it is good, why are we opening ourselves up to the possibility that it could go so bad?
Amanda, can we do a small palate cleanser here?
Of course.
Amanda, do you know what Nintendo is doing to keep workers together even during the recession?
No.
Ooh, why don't you do a quick Google?
Aw, Nintendo is raising employee pay by 10% in Japan, important for long-term growth.
Who would have thought?
Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah. A report by Reuters says that Nintendo is taking action to secure the, quote, long-term growth of its workforce. It follows calls from the country's Prime Minister, Fumio Kishida, asking local companies to increase pay for workers to combat inflation. Who would have fucking thought?
Yeah.
Also, am I opening myself up to this? Well, the previous Prime Minister of Japan didn't think that, but he's not there anymore because of assassination. So, I don't know. Anyway, pretty cool that this is happening. Well, who would have thought that you can give raises and make your employees feel better? I'm not saying that Nintendo is great. They also have not done, like any large company, they're not perfect. And Japanese work culture is also incredibly complicated and hard to, like, wrap your head around if you're not in there constantly. But, like, it's pretty straightforward and a kind of good news.
Yeah, and I see here, too, in the Game Rant summary of this press release that Nintendo North America employees have gotten hourly raises after their sort of staffer company was used as a proxy to retaliate against employees that advocated for unionization.
Yeah.
So, I mean, union busting that ends in raises is not the worst kind of union busting.
I mean, that's almost like having a union while your company tries to forbid you from having a union.
Like, at least you get to take more money home in the meantime as you more quietly advocate for unionization.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, the unionization is happening all over games media as we continue to talk about crunch and these massive games and games that are coming out that are not totally finished. But, like, you know, Nintendo games keep getting kicked down the road so that they can have more polish, and it's nice. At least they're not getting shoved out the door on an incredible rush. Again, we're only talking from the limited experience and the nice feeling that I got seeing this article. So I guess I just wanted to end there.
There you go. I like it.
Yeah. Thanks. More left-leaning government of Japan, which happened for no particular reason.
Thank you.
For no particular reason that happened.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
Hey, Amanda, what's going on with you? Where should people listen to you when they're not listening to you here?
You gotta listen to the new campaign to join the party, baby. It's so much fun. I am playing a butterfly gunslinger named Troy Riptide, and it's incredibly fun. I love Dungeons & Dragons more and more, the game, not the company, as we play it. And playing in Eric's universes is just the best game I can possibly imagine. So come on over and listen to Join the Party.
Hell yeah, dude. You can also join the Patreon. Again, patreon.com/gamesandfeelings. If you like these episodes, we have tons of bonus episodes that you can get for just $5 a month. I think we have over 20 episodes. So that's like, each one's like 45 minutes long, times 20. That's a lot of hours. I can't do the math that quickly. Just do it on your own time. And all you did, just give us $5. And if we hit 100 patrons, I'm going to go to the UK and bother Jasper.
I'm going to go also because I live with Eric.
Amanda will also be there. We'll both go bother Jasper at his house in the United Kingdom.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be wonderful. Again, tell people about Games and Feelings. Recommend it. I know I do the whole spiel at the end usually, but just tell people about the show. We really want to continue to grow. Tell people about the show. Become a patron if you've already done that. We would really love your support, both paid and unpaid.
Exactly. Be like, hey, what do you think of this Buck Wild advice question? And then send them the link to the replay episode.
Interesting. All right, Amanda, now you're going to say the thing that we say at the end of every single one of our replays. It's kind of our classic bit that encapsulates everything we do.
I'm a gamer girl. Bye.
Yeah, you got it in one. Games and Feelings is produced by Eric Silver and edited and mixed by Mischa Stanton. The theme music is Return to French Toast Castle by Jeff Bryce, and the art was created by Jessica Boyd. Find transcripts for this episode and all episodes at our website, gamesandfeelings.com. Until next time, press X to enjoy the podcast.